So here's my small presentation. First off, thank you all for being part of the school account, the school community. My goal is really to share my knowledge, share my learnings with everybody, and then hopefully it'll inspire you to keep training, inspire you to train smarter, train harder, train faster, and get results that you're looking for. I kind of titled this presentation as how to make the fastest improvements. So oftentimes we're all here trying to become better, get faster, achieve the goals that you've set out. When we think about how do we make the fastest improvements, I like to break it down into kind of different levels of paddling competency. I kind of take different paddlers at different levels will have different needs pretty much. And so when you're thinking about how do I improve, it's really about, for coaches, it's about meeting the paddler where they're at. So I kind of broke down this 8 levels here. You can read it yourself, but I will also mention it, right? So you have level one, which is at the bottom of the rung. It would be a brand new paddler, someone who is completely new to paddling. What you might do to support a brand new paddler will look different if you're working with a different level paddler. Okay. So I pretty much took what we know as like new, beginning, intermediate, advanced, and kind of world champion. And I broke it down into one more level because there's kind of a little bit more nuance in between each one. And so at level one, it's brand new. At level two, you're a recreational paddler. At level three, you're an intermediate paddler. Okay, so level four is dedicated intermediate. Level five is advancing. Level six is what I call advanced. So when I say, oh, you're an advanced paddler, we're at level six. At level seven, you're elite. And at level eight, you're a world champion. And I like to think that at level eight and level seven, you kind of toggle back and forth. Pretty much they're kind of synonymous. You might be training at an elite level, but you might be number two or number four or number five, somewhere there, like pretty solid up there. But then you actually have to win to be labeled world champion. And then you keep training hard. You're still training at a world champion level, but the next year someone else might beat you and then you might be elite and not world champion. So that's kind of the level seven and level eight. Okay. When I think about who I'm trying to work with and who I'm trying to support, I'm mostly looking at levels one through four. So I'm going to talk through kind of what are the different needs at each of those different levels. And so when you think about how do I get faster, for coaches, it's about meeting the paddler where they're at. So if it's a brand new paddler, which I'm going to go to next, if you're a level one, you're brand new. Your priority to make your fastest improvement is to increase paddling frequency. When it's a brand new paddler, they might be paddling once a week. Maybe they just starting with the sport, they might paddle once a week. For that paddler to make the fastest improvement, the biggest gains in the shortest period of time, for them, it's to increase the paddling frequency. So increase it from 1 day to 2 day. That is already doubling your workout, right? If you increase from 1 day to 3 days, wow, now you're doing three times the work. You're improving at three times the speed, if that makes sense. Okay. So if you're brand new, it really is just about getting out there and paddling more. Okay. Once you increase your paddling days from one to two to three, once you get to three times per week, is where I would move someone up to recreational paddler. When you're at the recreational paddler level, I still would like you to still increase paddling frequency. So go from three to around four. And then the addition here is that when you're at this level, you want to also increase your intensity. Okay, so now it's not just about going out there and paddling, it's also about paddling hard. Okay, so you want to increase the frequency to about 3 sessions a week, maybe four, while also increasing intensity. Okay, so that's level two. Level 3, which is what I call intermediate, you want to increase your paddling frequency, so to around 4. And then you also want to start increasing your paddling duration. So instead of just an hour or an hour and a half, you might put in an hour and a half times 3 days a week, times 4 days a week. So now you're really just increasing the amount of volume that you're getting, that your body is getting stimulus to continue improving. Okay. And then at level 4, what I call a dedicated intermediate, now you're increasing paddling frequency. We're looking at 4 to maybe 5 times a week of training. Okay. And then also increasing paddling duration. So now still around the 1.5 to 2 hour mark, 1 to 2 hour kind of duration. And what's important here at this level is also varied intensity. So in the levels prior, you can get away with just working harder, 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 intensity, more intensity, working, paddling more. At around level 4, you start seeing diminishing returns from just hard, hard, hard all the time. You actually might end up getting injured, or you might get burned out, or you'll just start the results will start plateauing. And so what needs to happen at this level is getting varied intensity. So going hard at certain times, going easier at specific times, and all that. Okay. And so these are the 4 levels that I put out: level 1, level 2, level 3, level 4. And this is a super simplified kind of version of kind of how to make those improvements. What I would say is that the technique will matter at all of these levels. The coaching that you get, the quality of coaching that you get will matter at all of these levels. Okay. So just because you increase paddling frequency, if you're paddling with the wrong technique, I mean, it will still help, but you can fast track it much better, much quicker if you have a coach take a look at you to make sure even when you're increasing paddling frequency, that the technique and the body mechanics are correct. And that can really help to move you in the right direction more quickly. And then really it's and these levels I would say are kind of fluid. You kind of some days you might feel like you're at a 2, some days you're at a 1, and you'll kind of fluctuate between the two until you kind of are solidly in 2, and then you kind of inch up in that way. Okay. When you get to level 5, level 6, level 7, what happens at those levels is that you pretty much go through these cycles of training, but they are now more extended. So when you're level 1 paddler, you can pretty much make 3 times the gains in just by increasing your paddling frequency. By the time you get to level 4, maybe you're getting faster every 2 to 4 months. When you get to the next level, level 5, you might be getting faster every time you test yourself or race. You might be getting faster every 6 months, every 8 months. But during those duration of time, the 6 months, you still have to be mindful and maintaining and peaking at specific times so that at the end of that 6 month period, that you then gain this much. And so pretty much what I'm saying is in the beginning, the journey, that curve is pretty steep. You can make those gains really fast, and then there's diminishing returns. But at those high levels, when you get to advanced, elite, we keep training and pushing because we're trying to even get those diminishing returns to be that much faster to then become elite, to then become a world champion. And so by the time we get to that level, it's a whole different kind of training program. And so at the end of the day, it's super important to kind of know where you're at, and depending on what your goals are, to find the right coaches, find the right paddling team, find the right people to be around. If that was valuable to you, please drop a comment, drop a like, or share it to a friend that you think will benefit from this. Thank you so much for tuning in.